Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Just Major, and we back with another great episode of Don't Get Tricked podcast. And you know I got my beautiful team with me. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, 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 it's your boy, Big Lee.
With the flexing.
I just got a question for you, Lee. At first it was Big Lee, then it was Little Lee, now it's back to Big Lee.
Hey, it's a name that's always been with me. Even if I'm like 180 pounds, I'm going to be Big Lee.
Okay, well, it's your girl, Drea.
What up, Drea?
What's up, my peoples?
What's happening? Listen, we got a dope episode. We got a dope show for y'all today. We talking about money. We digging in them pockets right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dig deep and reach the people because, everybody got some stuff they're going through financially. Actually, more so than ever, I would say so, with everything that's going on in the world. So to help us out and to give us a little insight, we brought one of our good friends, went to high school together. She's a part of this company called Complete Concept Consulting. She's also financially unbothered financial coach and actually has a dope show on Facebook Live. You catch her Mondays, hosting Money Tip Mondays. Y'all, my people, give a round of applause. Woo, that was a circle, a round of applause. Miss Aquila Collins. What's up, girl?
What's going on? What's going on? Thank y'all for inviting me to the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Well,
Definitely thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And everyone can use some financial coaching. And I know me personally, I be looking at my finances like, man, I wish I knew some of this earlier and stuff, but we appreciate you being here.
thank you.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself. I know, we went to high school together.
Almost 20 years too.
Chill, 20 years next year.
I'll do that.
Dang.
I got my mind up to that.
That's so crazy.
Fact, that goes to show us black don't crack. Hey.
Sure don't.
You did track back in school back in the day. You was okay at it.
What?
What happened? What was that?
I was okay.
Hold on, let me.
You know what? We don't leave that alone. Don't leave that alone. It's more than okay. Now I can't run now, but
Hey, neither.
You can definitely outrun me.
But my name's Aquila Collins. I am the owner, founder, CEO, boss lady, whatever you want to call it, of Complete Concept Consulting. And our mission is to create financially unbothered adults who will then take what they learn to their children and raise up financially savvy young adults. I partner with nonprofits and teach the youth there about budgeting, savings, even down to learning and understanding how to write out a check, which I know a lot of our youth now have no clue how to do so. And they think money literally grows on trees. But I break it down for everyone's level for them to understand, to comprehend, and small little tidbits for them to actually implement on a daily basis, and it's just a matter of starting somewhere. You're not going to get out of debt in 2 days. I mean, if you do, please share that method with me. But, it's just really taking the time to say, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and how we're going to get there. And personally, for me, which got me started on this journey, is that I want to change the narrative and trajectory of what money looks like in my family. My parents, they did a pretty decent job, I'm not going to throw shade to them, and teaching us about understanding your credit, keeping your score high, but save for a rainy day. And that was kind of like the gist of it. But no one explains what a rainy day is. No one explains that rainy days change from being in college to now you're a full-fledged adult. Because a rainy day in college was, oh, we ain't got no food, pizza. Oh, there's some shoes on sale, let's go buy it, right?
Hey.
But as an adult, it's like, oh, we want some food. What we got in that cabinet to make? We got $10. All right, if we balance this, and this,
right.
Broke people could balance some budgets when they need to. So let's keep that same mentality, when we're not broke, theoretically.
Right.
Yeah, and I could echo that because in college, when I first got there, and we had a 555 at was it Domino's, and we used to eat that like crazy. But I asked you, because you say you work with a nonprofit. Going back to when I went into college, I didn't have the financial Warsaw are, you know, the literacy of knowing about credit, knowing that light bills is going to end up on your credit if you don't pay them. And I used to have this bad mindset of saying, hey, just put it on my credit. Look, it'll be off there in like 7 years. I ain't got to worry about it. It was like, yo, my credit is long enough, and, you know, just staple it, whatever you could staple to it, because thinking about credit, I didn't know the full aspect of it until later on when I'm out of college, and like you said, now I'm an adult and stuff. So if you're working with that nonprofit, like, are y'all trying to get into the high schools and teach kids this? Because that's something now I wish I would have known. I wish I knew, because it might have set me up better now. You know, I'm in a better place, but for a while I was scared to look at my credit.
Yeah, you know, I think that's very honest of you to be very transparent about that, right? Because a lot of people are suffering or have suffered within their finances. And my goal is definitely to teach the youth, right? Because if you teach them young, they'll take it with them as they grow up. Now, they might not do everything perfect. I mean, none of us did, but at least having them understand, coming from someone that's giving them the truth, like, hey, I had that wonderful little 600 credit score, or I've had friends who had no credit score. Like, that's how low it was, right? But you're coming to them on their level, not on a level of, I'm a banker, I got my suit on, my suit and tie, and you're not relatable. So I come in there, jeans, sneakers, tank tops, hoodies, whatever it is, and half the time the principals think I'm part of students, but I come in there and just talk to them with real life, right? Like, this is the mistakes that I made. I'm not ashamed of the mistakes I made. I made them and they helped me to get to where I'm at now. However, if you eliminate some of these mistakes, you can be further than where I am, right? So the goal is to continue to work with the nonprofits, to get into some of the junior high schools and high schools, and even partner with some of the elementary schools on the basics, right, of just delayed gratification. Even with the parents, you know, your kid can't get everything they ask for. Sometimes you have to wait on it. Maybe you have to do a chore before they can get it. But it all ties into your upbringing.
Yeah, I definitely can attest to that, because like Lee touched on, like, in my household, I wasn't brought up on that. I was, you know, didn't understand credit, didn't understand how it worked, the importance of building credit, and how it all tied in. So now that I have, you know, young sons and a daughter, it's like I'm trying to talk to them and teach them those values that I didn't know growing up.
And also, before you hop in, I want to share, it's like a funny story, you know, because going back to when I was in college, I went to college at 17 years old. I got one of the late birthdays, so when we graduated in 01, I was 17.
He's the baby of the squad.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I might be the baby, actually, because
Yeah.
I was 17 also.
I'm really the baby.
Were you part of our graduating class too?
No.
Okay, still count. Nah.
Nah.
She's still in those 20s.
Oh, you the baby.
She's the baby.
20.
Hey, little baby.
But so the funny story, and I shared this with the group before, was my first credit card was, I was going into Walmart, buy some stuff, and they offered 2 free 2-liter sodas. I was like, sign up for this and you get 2 free liter sodas. All right, I just wanted the soda. And the card came later, and I didn't even think about it. I got the card, I had it in my wallet for months. Then, you know, broke college student, like, going to Walmart, I was like, it's a credit card, let me try this out. I swiped it. You know, it's something small, probably like $15. Swiped it. Oh, I ain't got to pay for this. And it $500 limit. No, I'm back at Walmart, and a payment of $25. I'm like, oh, that's nothing. All I got to do is pay out $25. Next thing you know, maxed it out.
I think I got everybody in college, to be honest.
Yeah. And that gives the whole, you know, because they got the what's that, the 30% rule. They want you to use only like 30% of it, but at that, I don't know that.
Right.
I'm like, shoot, I see $500. To me, that's 500.
And to be honest, that's where a lot of people really start getting into debt. They start in college because you go to college, you're on these campuses, and there are credit card offers left and right. Like I remember before I even left for college, there was credit card offers that came in the mail. And my parents ripped them up. They didn't really explain to me why they ripped them up, but they got rid of them. And then you go to college and you're on your own and mom and dad didn't send you money. You don't want the food that's in the cafeteria. You go to Walmart and you're like, oh, I got a card? Oh, all right, what I got to do? You sign up for it. And I swear, I think in college towns, there is no credit limit to even get the cards. I think everybody just get $300 to $500 regardless because they know they're going to get their money from it. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my myth behind it. Like, they just give you these cards. Then you go to the mall and Victoria's Secret and Macy's and whomever. And before you know it, you racked up debt before you even got to year 2 of college.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you.
Yes.
So what do you say to those people out there that didn't even get a chance to ruin their credit? Like their parents was putting things in their name when they were, in high school and stuff like that. And so they never even experienced, how to do their own credit or ruin or better their own credit because it's already messed up by the time they get to college or even older and as an adult.
Yeah, that's a very good question and a tough one because, there's 2 ways you can go about it. You can actually go and report it as fraud, right? But then you're reporting your parents as fraud, right? That they did something fraudulent on your account.
Snitching.
Or you can still reach out to the creditors because they have about a 30-day time period to get back to you. So if they happen to get back to you on that 31st or 32nd, 33rd day, they automatically have to take it off your credit report. So it's a twofold. Now, you can't go back in time, right? So the only thing you do is say, all right, chalk it up as a loss, but how do I move forward from where I'm at now? And in regards to like some of the nonprofits I work with, a lot of the youth there, that has been their problem. We pulled their credit reports. I've never opened this. I don't know where this came from. It must have either been my foster parent or it must have been my parents, but it wasn't me. So you have to make a decision, like how bad is the credit and how bad do you want to get it fixed as quickly as possible? Or are you okay with taking the time to say, okay, you know what? If it's something's in collections, let's figure out the time frame. Like there's a time limit for everything. So if it's about to hit that 7-year mark, in my opinion, don't pay it. It's already in collections. Your credit's already kind of slightly messed up, right? It's hitting that 7-year mark. Let them just wipe it off your credit. So it just really depends on the situation, the scenario. So if anyone is listening that had that happen to them, I would definitely recommend speaking to someone that can analyze, aka me, your credit report and really help you map out a strategic plan that's going to make sense in the long run without coming out of pocket for so much more.
And these companies should do something. It's because that's been something that's been done for decades, and these companies like the electric company and all that should have something in place that you can't put a 3-year-old name in their light bill.
Right.
It's like, bro, if I put my son and he was born in 2018, like ask for his date of birth. And it should match the records of like the Social Security or whatever you running.
Well, it's a twofold because let's say you're financially savvy parents, right? And you're doing it to build your kids' credit up by the time they get older. So it can work in your favor, but if it's mishandled, then yes, definitely it's terrible. It's a terrible situation, but it can also work in your favor. So if you guys decide, hey, you know what? We have really great credit or even decent credit, on the way to being immaculate credit. Awesome. And you decide to put your child on as an authorized user at the age of 15, 16. By the time they get to college, they'll have a great credit score. Now it's up to them to maintain it. Or even through college, you keep them on as an authorized user. You never have to give them a copy of the card. And to be honest, like that is something my dad did for us. He put us on his account. He gave us a budget. When I went over my budget, he took my card back. But kept me as an authorized user because he continued to make sure his payments and his credit was up to standards. So that helps you. So it's a twofold.
So go ahead, Lee.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, I just want to know what made you get started in this particular field and to help people?
I had debt.
Plain
I couldn't figure out. No. Honestly, it was just a matter of saying where I'm at in life now, I'm not in a bad place, but I could have been further along if I managed my money better.
Okay.
I had in just full transparency, I had a job where I was making $100,000 and I was living paycheck to paycheck. Made absolutely no sense. Then I get a job where I'm making 60, 70,000 and I'm saving more money than a job when I had more money. Like, honestly, it's your habits and your behaviors. So I got to a point where I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. And getting married is like, hey, you know what? We want to set our kids up right. We want to make sure that we can retire before the age of 60, 65 or 67, as Social Security is now pushing for people to do. Right. What if I want to retire at 55? What do I have to do to get there? So I just decided to say, like, you know what? I don't mind sacrificing for a couple of years to get what I want, where I can then take that time, that's retirement time, and really either start a new career, start a new hobby, travel, whatever it may be. So my end result is what drove me to really get it together and get it in line.
Okay. Is it like something better than the other? Say, for instance, it's all these credit repair people that repair your credit. Is that still good? Like, I know like your credit score goes up and all that, but is it something behind it? Like how people just easily just take off the stuff off your credit and then it be gone. Like,
so, it's a twofold. You'll meet some people that are very authentic with it and will tell you the utmost truth. And then you'll meet some people that's like, okay, I charge you $100, $150 a month for the next 3-4 months until X, Y, and Z is taken off your credit, right? And what they fail to tell you sometimes is that although it's taken off your credit, you still need to pay it, right? Like, it's not just going to disappear. Certain things will, like if it's in collections and it's been in collections for like 8 or 9 years, depending on what it is in collections, theoretically they have to take it off. Student loans, they're not taking that off. Medical bills, generally, you can probably try to settle, but they're not really going to take it off. But if you have like, I don't know, a credit card that has been in collections for 7 years, well, once you make that payment, like 6 months or 6 years and 8 months, now it starts that cycle all over again. So it's a hit or miss of what it can be that can take it off. But majority of the time that they're just eliminating things, they're eliminating anything that is causing your debt to income ratio to be high. And some things in that aspect are not in collections. So if they take off a credit card bill, $5,000, it might be off, but you still owe it. And it may come back and hit you later on. And you're like, well, where did this come from? I thought it was taken care of. No, it was temporarily removed.
So how would we know those things, those items that's just temporarily removed?
So I would honestly say, like, when you pull your credit report, just see the last date of which you've interacted with that account in regards to making a payment, right? And if they call you and say, hey, is this Drea, I don't know your last name, hun, but if this is like, Drea Smith, who's calling, right? And then they're like, oh, well, you have an account with, no, I don't, hang up the phone. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work for everything, right? But the minute you admit that this is your account, now they can hold you accountable to it. Some things you may want to use as a settlement. And I know a lot of people will say never settle because it lowers your credit score. Well, your credit score is already low. So if you settle and get it off, it gives you more time to build it up faster.
Okay.
So with settling, how does that work exactly? Say, okay, I have a debt of $4,000. They offer me $1,500. Pay out the $1,500. It lowers my score, but it shows that it's paid and clear on my credit report? Like, how does that work?
So something that I recently learned is that you can ask them you can negotiate your settling, basically. Okay. So if you have a $4,000 debt and they're like, okay, well, we'll take it for $1,500. And you're like, okay, great. You can then ask them, if I pay you $1,500, can you put it as paid in full? So now on your credit report, it shows that it's paid in full versus that it was settled.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Paid in full is better on your credit than, settled or collections or the grantor closed the account. So you just talk to them and ask them. Now, after you speak to them or when you're speaking to them, write down the person that you spoke to, the date, the time, because they're definitely going to have the recording of it, and ask them to send you a copy in the mail. So ask them to send you what you just discussed in the mail. And once you receive it, that's when you pay it. Because now you have a paper trail of stating, you said that $1,500 is full.
Yeah, I had to, when I was going through purchasing my house, I had to get 2 things removed from my credit So, but I paid in full. One was like $154, and then the other one was a dispute that I was going through with an old rental place. But it came off right away, and I had them send me a letter. Then I sent it to my financial person, and they made sure it got to the credit report to get it off of there as soon as possible. So it worked. I think my score went up from it, and I ended up having a better interest rate for my house too. So
Yeah, and so how long did it take you? 30 days, if that?
less, because by getting that letter, they put it in right away. They sent it directly to the three credit
The
bureaus.
credit bureaus.
Yeah.
So it might have took like might have took like a week after they got it and stuff to remove it, because it says, hey, this is gonna be removed. So
Well, good for you.
yeah.
Paid in Full was a good movie, by the way. That's been brought up multiple times in this conversation. Just want to put that out there.
Really?
So I saw you on your money tip Mondays, you discussing about the 401k. Can you just elaborate a little more on that? And do you recommend a 403b?
So, okay. I think everyone needs to invest in their 401k, 403b, or if you're military, I think it's TSP, right? You need to invest in something, especially if your employer is matching what you're putting in. So basically the match is stating, let's say you're making $60,000 a year, the company's going to match you up to 6%. Well, that means if you put in $3,600 for the year, they're putting in $3,600 for the year. Now, maybe in 1 year, it might not seem like a lot. It's only like $7,200. I mean, that's a good amount for me. But multiply that, by like 5 years, you can either have $18,000 or $36,000. Well, I'm going to take the money, right? So I think at some point you need to. Now, if you cannot afford to put in the full match of what your company is offering, then maybe you start off with 3%. And then when you get your raise, instead of spending your raise money, you increase your 401k, because you really cannot afford to not plan for your future. It's like a double negative, but you really can't. Like, you have to plan for the future. I'm not fully knowledgeable of 403bs, but those are for teachers and stuff. So I didn't really educate myself fully on those, to be honest.
I have a 403b.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with the world. Only got it because the shorty that sold it to me was cute.
What?
But like, I get my monthly statements, right? So I'm looking at them. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I'm gonna be real. All I see is numbers. So I gotta
job or
it's not through my job per se. It's like outside contract, if you will.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, they'll set up shop and say, hey, we're working with this school district. We're offering you this. You know what I mean? So it's not through my particular job. But with that being said, like I said, I'm looking at the numbers. So I don't know what those numbers mean. I don't know. I know I'm contributing X amount of dollars each check. I call them, hey, how much I got in my account? Oh, you got this amount. Okay. No problem. Next week, next month, you'll have this amount. Okay. All I know is a decent amount in there.
Okay.
That's all I know. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to actually have to get back to you on that one.
I never even heard of a 403b before. I know the 401k.
Yeah, 403bs are generally for like public schools or like tax exempt organizations like nonprofits. Sometimes it's doctors, nurses, things of that sort. But I was under the impression that you can actually get it through the job. So this is something that you did outside of your employer.
Correct. It's through the employer, but not through the employer. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like, because through my job, I have my own separate retirement that's offered with my job.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But this is something that they only work like with the public schools, like you said. They, you know what I mean? They're outside source coming in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take note on that one, and I will give you an answer.
I have another question.
I have an answer, hopefully. Hopefully it's not on 403bs.
It's a 401k question. So me, I know like through previous jobs, I had contributed to 401ks.
Mm-hmm.
How do I find out that information? Because I don't know how that works. Like, because I no longer work for these companies.
Contact them.
So who would I contact? The job?
Yep, contact HR. HR has to still have all your records on file, even if they switch from Fidelity to Vanguard to whomever else. Like, it'll still be on file. So I would just contact the corporation and ask to speak to HR. And you don't even have to necessarily give all your information. You can really just say, hey, I wasn't an employee there. I left my 401k there. Who's servicing us? And then you contact that organization, give them most likely your social, your dates of employment at the other location, and they should be able to pull it up.
I know when I quit my job, they reached out to me about my and they asked me, do I want to transfer to like another job or do I want my money? And I just said I want my money, and they just sent me a check in the mail. I didn't even reach out to them.
Yeah, that happens also. They can automatically, like you said, transfer it to your new employer, so that way you don't get hit with any penalties. Or if you opened up your own personal like IRA account, they can transfer it into there as well.
Okay.
But definitely start with HR. HR will definitely have it.
So what is your take on like money market accounts versus CD accounts?
Well, it depends on why you're doing it. So with CDs, it's kind of like a set it and forget it. And if you take any money out of it, you'll get penalized. Money market accounts, you can generally have to have a higher minimum balance to actually open the account. You have interest rates that are similar to a regular checking savings, and you can only withdraw from it 6 times out the month. So it really just depends on what you're looking to do with it.
Now, because I'm not knowledgeable in money market account. What is their typical rates going for?
Oh, I don't know all that.
So that's something I have to contact my bank, right, and figure out, right?
Yeah, there's let me see, what site was I on? I think it's rates.com.
Okay.
That can actually tell you like what interest rates and things are. Oh, nope, it's not rates.com. Here you come with these extra questions.
Hey.
But what you can also do, a site that I actually look at is NerdWallet. NerdWallet has a lot of info that will tell you like some of the best credit cards, some of the best interest rates, things of that sort. But if you decide that you want to do like a CD, you might be a little bit better at doing on an online bank. They have higher rates because there's no brick and mortar, right? So they get to cut in other areas. Again, the only downfall is that it's not as accessible. So if you pull from it, you're penalized. But if you put maybe, I don't know, $500, $1,000 in it, let it sit there for a year, you'll accrue whatever interest that is on it. Money market accounts, definitely more accessible because you can also get checks from them as well. But it's just a matter of finding out, which works best for you and moving forward that way.
Okay, good to know.
Like with my 401k, my job, I think they match up to $1,500 a year for the amount of years I've been there. And after a certain amount of time, it goes up to $3,500. I think is the max they'll do it, but that's after almost 20 years there or something. I used to put 10% in mine because this one guy who I used to work with in Wisconsin, he was telling me, he was like, he broke it down. I won't try to break it down the way he break it down, but basically, because I don't remember it. But he broke it down basically like if you put it in because that money's not being taxed, you up in a lower tax bracket by putting some money in, so you're getting taxed less, and so you put more into your 401k and your checks aren't that different, because you're not getting taxed as much as you would if I was if I was making that money that's not going in there. And then the 401k with the corona, it helped me because I was able to pull money out without having to go through the hardship and it helped more for the down payment and the closing on my house to put money down. So that helped me out this year by the corona stuff. So
well, with houses in general, if you was to pull for your house, you definitely can without it being taxed.
Okay, yeah. I
So
thought
that's
it
a
can
plus.
be taxed for the houses. So.
But in regards to what he was telling you about putting more money into your 401k, yeah, definitely. Like if you can put more into it, do so. You have your Roth and your traditional. The Roth, you're being taxed in the beginning. Traditional, you're being taxed at the end when it's time for you to retire. And it really just depends. So if you plan on making more money by the time you're ready to retire, then you want to start paying taxes now at a lower tax bracket. If you plan on making less money, then you might as well just wait until it's time for you to retire and pull it then because you're at a lower tax bracket. So it's just really kind of being strategic with it. And you can always, switch it at any time.
Yep. And another one of your videos, you talk about the couples. And I liked it because me and my wife recently just pretty much joined all our stuff together, from our bank account to, our car insurance, our phones, to make it one account. Like I said, we bought a house together and moved from an apartment and bought a house. So it was kind of tough. She makes good money, I make good money, but she's been independent. So for a while, she wanted to keep her independency, and she felt that, if she joined money, it could like take away. Like, I'm gonna question her on, hey, what you spending this on, what you spending that on. But I'm looking at it as trying to get financial freedom for the both of us, and we do it together instead of like, hey, we got this due or this due, and then you like, oh, you got to send me money, or like, yo, let's just combine it. If you got, to me, it's like if you got your student loan, we got to tackle it because we in this together. Whatever my student loans, we got to tackle all this so we could be financially freedom when we get older. And that's how I feel on the couple stuff.
Well, I think it's a great thing to well, I shouldn't say it doesn't work for everybody, right? So if someone is literally like a spender, you don't want them to have access to your account because they may spend you into the ground. But if two people are together and you're like, okay, hey, this is our end goal, this is what we're trying to do, then yeah, and having a conversation, no, like my husband, if he was to take money out the account and it's like, hey, I bought shoes, I bought X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to be like, why? Now, if he came in the house and be like, I spent $1,500 on what? Like, was that a necessity? So I think if you're just creating and putting together boundaries, it works, but it's something that you both have to agree to, right? So, although we have a joint account, we also have our own separate accounts where, hey, that's my hair money, my nail money. That's him going to the barber. If I want to go out with my girlfriends or whatever the case may be. We also have an account for vacations. So we both put money into this account for our vacations. We put money, we have what's called like a set it and forget it account where we don't touch it. Like we both put $50 in per paycheck. We don't have a card to the account. We have nothing. Like it's literally just a set it and forget it account. And we gave ourselves a date. I don't even know, I think it's like 2045 or something, that we said, okay, whatever amount's in there, we'll take 10% out and do something with it. So you have to find like your small wins and just find different ways of like compromising, right? And saying, okay, what can we cut back on? Combining your cars, you're now a 2-car household plus your house insurance, you just reduce some money. You save money there. Cell phones, you save some money there. So I definitely think it can work. It's just a matter of taking the time to sit down and budget. And I'll be the first one to admit that budgeting is trash, but you have to sit down, take the time to do it. And then after you get it going for a couple of months, then it's truly smooth sailing. But having boundaries of, hey, if I spend over $250, I need to contact you. Or if it's 100, whatever it may be.
So that was going to actually be my next question about budgeting is trash. Please just elaborate, because, I was taught you got a budget because I always lived off a budget. So, explain, please just give me a little bit more elaboration on that.
My version of budgeting is trash is because like, I don't want to do it, right? Like I don't want to sit here and do it. I don't want to sit here and have to really itemize where I'm spending money, how I'm going to spend money. But the reality is that once you start doing it, you're finding money. You're finding you're spending money on things you don't really need. So I found out that I had a magazine, like 3 magazine subscriptions that I've never received. I don't remember signing up for these things, right? So now I'm spending $5 a month on each. Don't ask. I have no clue. And it was because it was coming, it's coming out your account. It's very minuscule. You're not really paying attention to like a $2 charge, a $5 charge, whatever it is. You're like, oh, maybe I went to the store or I forgot. And I really sat down and started going through, like, where did this come from?
It's 9:00.
Where was this from? Oh, I think that was 9, sorry. Like, where is this at? And you're just like, no. And you start adding it up and it's like, whoa, that's like $72 a year. Wow, that's another $50 I just found. So budgeting is annoying to do, but it is a necessity. And after you get in a cadence of it, it becomes easier and easier. So continue to budget.
Continue to budget. You also said something earlier about putting money away for a rainy day. Now, you know, I was taught, wasn't really taught, but just talking to people, like they said, oh, you want to put money like 3 months up just in case something happens.
So it really depends, right? Some people will tell you want to put 3 months salary up. Well, the reality is you might be living outside of your salary. So that's not going to help you. You want to put roughly 3 months of your basics, your bare essentials at minimum. Everything else is just, okay, that's a bonus. So that means like, hey, if you lose a job, well, guess we have no cable right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a necessity. You don't need cable to survive. You might still need internet. So that little $50, $60 a month you may still need so you can apply for jobs or go to a library. But certain things are not necessities. You won't need Netflix. You won't need the sports package. You know what I mean? So when people are like, okay, well, I save 3 months salary and I go through their numbers and I'm like, but you're spending over budget every month. So that's not helping the cause. So if you used to lose your job, you're still screwed because you don't have enough to cover your basic necessities. So I would start with definitely your basic necessities first and then add on to that. In the midst of COVID, I think you probably need more like 6 to 8 months because you really don't know what's going to happen, right? And if you get to a place where it's like, hey, you know what? I did lose my job. I can't afford my rent. Well, random occurrences like this one, they'll work with you. In everyday normal life, oh, you need to pay your rent regardless of what's going on. So I would say protect your home. Protect you, your kids, those 4 walls. That's what you protect first. Everything else is a necessity. It's not a necessity, excuse me.
It's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna ask you about the couples thing, but Lee covered it for you. Asked you about
That's
Ian. You already.
The couples thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're so used to being independently by yourself. You know, you do everything yourself. You pay your bills. You go about your business, and it's not in our minds. It feels like I'm checking in with someone, but you're really not, right? And you're just like, I gotta do what? Share a bill. Basically, I gotta be transparent and show you that I'm late payments, right? Or hey, I'm behind on this payment, and you're being vulnerable. But the reality is, like, you picked this person to marry for a reason. So if I can't be vulnerable with you with everything, including debt, then why did we get married? So my husband, he didn't come in this relationship with student loan debt. I did. And if I was him, I'd probably be like, I ain't marrying you so you clear up your debt. Like, that's just way too much, right? But he's here, right? So like, it's our debt. We're going to tackle it and handle it together. And on one of the videos, I was talking about, you know, how I want a new desktop and he wants more stock. Well, at the end of the month, if he has $400 and I have $600 and all of our bills are paid, well, guess what? There's $1,000 right there that you could use for your stock. There's $1,000 right there that we could use for my desktop if we put it together versus trying to do it individually. And now it's taking 3-4 months to get what we could have done together in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, quick little story about me and my husband. So we joint accounts, but I'm so used to what's the word? Even like when he first met me, I don't know. I guess I'm young. My husband 10 years older than me. Okay, so even when he first met me, I was a spender. I like to shop. I like to get what I want. I got the mindset like I work hard for my money. I feel like I should spend it the way I want to spend it. As long as my bills paid, I should be able to treat myself. So he came into the relationship on like okay, well, his credit was way better, everything, financially, everything. So now that we done joint accounts, it's like, I don't know, I thought about it as like, okay, this is my money. And then he'd be like, babe, you spending too much. Like, we trying to save. Like, I'm like, listen, I work hard for this money. spend my money the way I want to spend it. Okay. So I had that mentality. So, I mean, eventually it got to the point where I'm like, listen, I'll get my own account again. Like, I don't need to share accounts with you if telling me what to do with my money. Like, no, we separate this account again. But now it's better. I mean, he doesn't question me about money I spend. I guess he know my mouth.
So clearly you're the spender.
Right, like you guys are savers, right? So let me ask you this: what do you save money for?
Trips, things that I want, hair done, nails done, anything that I want, I will save my money for.
So I would say every year you plan the trips then.
Oh, I'm always planning the trips. I'm the one that celebrates every holiday. He don't believe in celebrating the holidays. Oh, baby, we don't need to spend all that money on this and that. Nope. Every year for my birthday, we have to celebrate the whole month. Like that's what those
Ain't lying at all.
that's the
Oh man, ain't that coming up?
Say nothing about that. I celebrate the whole month too. However, right, I'm also further thinking, right? Yeah, it's cool to do all this stuff right now, but I want to be able to do it still in my 50s, 60s, right? So if that means I got to cut back a little bit and I can't buy the bag, or I have to actually save for the bag and not take from the joint account, cool. And I know it sounds very weird to say, like, you know, you give yourself kind of like an allowance. So let's say your monthly allowance to spend is $200. Put it on like a Visa gift card. Once you're done with that $200, you don't get to go dip into the account again. Like that, you done. So I say find different ways where you can still get what you want, but you're still being able to meet him halfway a little bit, right? So he seems to definitely be the saver. Definitely like, hey, I got the long term. I got us covered. I ain't gonna let you jack us up. So I would definitely say, like, if that's the case and whatever you guys agree that, hey, this could be my monthly go-to, put that on like a Visa gift card and that's what you use to spend for the month. Now, if you don't spend it all that month, take it and put it back into the account and just start fresh in the next month. Or save up for something that you're looking to purchase. But you got to meet the man halfway. He seemed like he looking for, like, we got you down the line. Like, we're going to pay this house off faster. Like,
that's mentality. His mentality is he wants to save up to pay off our house. It is not smart to pay off your house early. Like he wants to, it is not smart. It is not smart to pay off your house super early. He wants to pay, he sees himself, I don't know how he sees himself paying off a house that we just bought. We've been in for a year, like 3 years from now. Like, how on earth are you planning? We don't make that type of money. Like, I'm trying to figure out where you want us to save every penny and plus more. Like, what are we gonna save this house, pay this house off for? Like, just
oodles and noodles diet.
Make sense. He wants to sell the house, pay the house off, and then sell it. That does not make sense. Why pay the house off and then sell it?
Because you're flipping it for interest, for a profit. So I don't agree with 30-year loans, right? If you could pay your house off faster, definitely do, because you're accruing so much interest on it. And then depending on how the market is, like if the market goes down, then you have no equity really in your home. So the faster you pay it off, and if he's wanting to pay it off faster to sell it, to flip it, then that means he wants to get a bigger house. Because no one's going to pay it to sell it off to get something smaller, theoretically, to move that fast, right? But you still have to do it while there's equity within the home. So I can't say I'm with you on this one, girl, but I'm with him on
the thing about it is you have to be smart about it. You still have a family. You have 2 kids. You have to live. It's not possible for you to try to pay this house off in 3 to 5 years. It's just not possible. You have to live your house. Your salary is not big. My salary not. We not rich. Okay, so it's not possible. You have to think. I be telling him, you have to think logical. That's not logical. We're not going to stop our lives just to take all our money. Things happen. Like you say, you need backup money just in case an emergency happens. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So for us to just say, oh, we're going to put all our money in and then we're going to stop our lives. No, we're not going to stop our lives, because it's just not logical. We probably can pay it off, earlier than 30 years, but 5 to 35 years, no, that's just not possible. I never heard of that. Never heard of nobody doing that makes as many as
Aquila.
Yes.
So did you look at any of the videos that I sent you?
The one, no, I didn't get a chance to look at the last one that you sent though.
Yeah, I was just gonna see about if you had any thoughts on the velocity banking as concept that I sent you. And we told you we got a friend of ours, Christian, and his company Remedy, and that's basically teaching people to use a debt tool to pay off debt and
I mean,
stuff.
I know a lot of people actually use those. I didn't have a moment to look at his. I definitely plan on taking notes on it to even ask him questions, pick his brain a little bit. I mean, a lot of people do utilize debt tools. Like, I don't know if you guys listen to Dave Ramsey. Like, he definitely talks about debt tools, and he talks about like, he uses a snowball effect. Other people use like an avalanche effect. I think it just really depends on what works for you. If you're married, is what works for us. But I think there's like plenty of different ways in which you can scale down your debt, pay things off faster than what people believe they can do.
Yeah, and when he broke it down for me, Rick, I don't know if he broke it down for you yet, and but it made a lot of sense to me, but that's another thing where you got to sacrifice too when you do it. It ain't
Right.
because you're getting a line of credit, and when you get a line of credit, people, you gotta remember, look how I thought when I was in college. Oh, you just gave me $15,000. That's free money. No, use it smart, and just a quick summary of it. You'll chunk part of that payment to pay something off, and then
Right.
your paychecks go directly back into it. So that's gonna have the interest, which is the interest is usually it's over 10%. So you usually want to be between 10 and 12. But when they charge you the interest, because your first payment, when they calculate it, you done probably already put 2 checks in there, depending on how much you make. Let's say you chunked $6,000. If you make 2,500 a check and you put 2 of them in there, that's 5,000 back into there. But then you got to pull your bills out too,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's if you get in contact with our financial guy and Remedy, he could break that down for you more. And if you got any questions on that, Quilla, you could get in contact with Christian, and he could break it down to you even more. And that might be, something you can share too if there's something you agree with.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like, so basically from what you're saying, you get a line of credit and a revolving line of credit basically.
A revolving line of credit.
But now if I have bad credit, how do I get approved for this?
But you could also use like credit cards and stuff like that too to do it. Like I said, Christian could break it down to you more, and he could tell you different ways of trying to do that, trying to get like a debt tool to help out
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But like I said, you definitely need something that's revolving, or even if like, let's say if you got a 401k and with this pandemic they allow you to take money out, you could take that money out, put it in your savings, and then you could use that money as a tool, because now you're just replenishing your savings account
Okay.
and taking it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, I planned on doing it today. Time got ahead of me. I'm in the midst of moving, and Lee, I guess you just moved too. This packing stuff is no joke. It's not for the faint of heart.
It's the worst. I hate it. I hate it.
Work at the same time.
Hopefully it's the last one, unless I get divorced. But
Whoa.
Like,
people, it's a joke.
You just went way left on that one.
So you gotta make sure you're awake out there.
Don't get tricked.
Oh man, so definitely. Y'all got anything else to add to this? Any other questions or any other stories about financial stuff that y'all want to share?
I mean, all I can say honestly is I definitely learned a lot, about this. It's definitely, as far as me, my biggest thing right now is, like I said, my 4 kids that are young adults. My daughter just turned 21. I taught her the basics, helped her get a checking account. I didn't get her a credit card yet. She got the offers. I didn't want her to have it just yet. And honestly, this conversation is actually opening my eyes a little bit more about that decision. And also with my three sons coming up, you know, as far as different things I should teach them and show them as far as credit and how to build credit and everything like that.
I think with the kids too, I mean, you don't have to expose them to like, you know, what you're making, but show them how you pay bills, because they understand like, hey, yeah, I got $1,000, but look where it went to, right? So when they're asking and asking and asking, and they're like, no, I want the newest Jordans. No, I want the newest video game. You're like, we just pay bills.
Right.
You want food or you want this, right?
Right.
So walking them through that process. Now, for your daughter, I know for a fact that my dad definitely made sure I had a credit card, just being a young woman out and about, right? Driving around, you never know what could happen. So a couple of things he always told me, always make sure you have cash in your wallet. So I always had to have $100 or $150 in cash, like tucked away. That's emergency money in case the car breaks down. You have to get someone to tell you, somebody will tell you or take you somewhere for cash. They're not going to be like, oh, well, I'll do it for your credit card, right?
Right.
So you always make sure you have that. If you're going to get her a credit card, you can either start with a secured credit card, which will still help build her credit, or you can get her a credit card, but don't let it be for a store. Because if she gets stranded somewhere, Victoria's Secret, Walmart, Macy's is not going to help her.
Right.
So she needs to have like a card that can be beneficial. And there are some cards out there that are for students, so they have a lower interest rate. They won't give them an outrageous balance, you know, which makes no sense. You get your first credit card, you have $15,000 to spend. Like, no one deserves that for your first credit card.
Right.
And then there's another company that I just learned about. I signed up to give it a try. So you're more than welcome to try it as well. This is not a like disclaimer for them or anything or promotion for them, but it's called Self Inc. And basically what you do is you sign up to make payments every month, and you can do anywhere, I think from $5 to $150. And you're making payments every month for 12 months. At the end of the 12 months, you'll get your money back minus whatever taxes they charge you. And I think the tax might be 12% or something of that sort. But they're reporting to the credit bureaus every month. So you're increasing your credit score by showing a great payment history. So
what is that? What is it called again?
Self, SELF, Inc., or self.inc. But definitely you could do that for her as well. And she could start off, even for your sons, they could start off at like, you know, the $5 a month, which you could pay for them each month. But after 12 months, you actually get your money back. But it reports to all the credit bureaus. So I would definitely do that, you know, for your kids. Show them how to pay bills. Let them understand what money is. If you give them an allowance, give them an allowance on a card. Because kids are so equipped to like, oh, okay, well, you can just swipe your card for it, Dad. You can just swipe your card for it, Mom, right? And you're like, no, I can't.
Right.
But if you can actually physically see it and see how it works for themselves, it's more relatable.
Oh, trust me, they know how it works. I done got hit with a bunch of V-Bucks charges on my card on the stupid game.
Well, see, no, that's your card. You got to give them your own card. So
I'm definitely getting their own
card. They know better.
Damn Fortnite. Hate it. Nah, but I definitely, you know, it's definitely a lot that I learned in this conversation that I can just apply for me and my kids and just to help better our situation. Because I plan on getting a house within the next 2 years. I'm already, you know, in the right track moving forward. But, you know, just little points that I took from this conversation, definitely I'm going to apply and help out even better, though.
Well, good. Glad I could be of service.
Dre, you got anything else you want to add?
No, no. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, how would they, you know, if they wanted more in depth of anything they need to ask, how would they reach out to you? What's the best way?
So they can hit me up on Instagram at _financially_unbothered, or they can go to my website, completeconceptconsulting.com, and shoot me an email there.
Okay.
All right, so we want to thank Miss Aquila Collins, high school track star, turned financial consultant on the Dontgettricked podcast. And actually, you were the first in-house guest that we've ever had.
Hey!
You know, the first in-house guest. So we had to go back 20 years to get you. But, you know.
Still going in this 20-year business. Like, what's going on?
Listen, you know what? I embrace it. It's all good.
No, I truly appreciate it, guys. I definitely thank you. And definitely, if you guys have any more questions, need any support, let me know. I can help you walk you through a couple of tips and toolbits as well.
And what time does your show, do you put on your show, the Money Tip Mondays?
So I don't have a specific time. I'm still checking metrics to see what times work best. This past Monday, I actually didn't do a new episode. I just kind of did a rerun. And the reviews on it actually was better than the first time I released it. So I'm just trying to figure out and gauge the timing for social media and so forth. So it'll definitely be out on Mondays. So far, it's been after 6 p.m., but I don't have a specific time just yet.
So make sure y'all be on the lookout for Aquila Collins, Money Tip Mondays. I'm sorry?
What'd you call me?
Aquila.
I was going to tell him before we even came on, he was trying to pronounce your name and he was saying it wrong.
Yo, man, we're not doing blooper reels right now.
Dang, the
Yo,
truth.
you know I always messed up your name in high school. It's nothing new.
The truth comes out.
But nah, we definitely appreciate you coming on and
very much.
Yeah, definitely shedding light and opening it up. Hopefully you guys took something from this that you can apply to your situation that can help you out. If you have any questions, concerns, any comments, go ahead and send us an email at jacked5gmail.com. Remember to hit up Aquila Collins. Check out her site, completeconceptconsulting.com. Email her there. Check her out on Money Tip Mondays whenever she decides to get a time.
So definitely appreciate it. Like I said, we ain't got nothing else, so keep checking us out.
Keep checking us out. Tell a friend, and tell a friend again. This is Don't Get Tricked podcast. Peace, y'all.